Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and neighbors, welcome to Mars Needs Movies. I'm your host, Precious D, and today's episode is a rewind. This originally appeared as part of our 31 Days of Horror 2025 on our original podcast, Monster Movie Fun Time Go. While we start out this show, we're going to alternate between new episodes and these rewinds from 31 Days of Horror, because the theme this year was Mars Needs Movies. So today is the movie that we get our title from, Mars Needs Women. Enjoy. With me today for the first time is my brother Delano. Hello, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you for having me, Precious D. And I'm going to be, for this purposes, I thought about being Precocious D or Perspicacious D, but that just really solidified that I'm going to be Pretentious D.
Yeah, that's what I saw that coming.
So,
So this year we are doing what I am calling Mars Needs Movies. That is movies of alien invasions, infiltrations, and incursions, and possibly the occasional abduction. And today we're talking about the movie that gave us the name for this, Mars Needs Women. It is from 1968, the year that I was born. They say made for TV. I think they originally intended for there to be a theatrical release, but it went directly into television syndication.
yeah, I did a little bit of a deep dive on it, and that's what I saw online, that it was originally intended for theatrical distribution, but they managed to get it on TV, even though it has a little bit of sauciness.
Yeah.
And
When I saw that scene, I was like, this was for TV?
well, it comes
doesn't
up
go
as
very
rated
far.
18 plus, which I was a little
That's a bit
surprised at
much.
on the streaming service. But I could see where it would not have been. Well, 68 was borderline for
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
Yeah.
They were starting to loosen up those restrictions. For those of you who haven't seen the movie, there is a rather mediocre burlesque performance where we get to see a lot of bare back.
There's what's threatening to be a striptease, but doesn't get terribly far. Although it seems to go on for quite a long time.
Yes.
It's the same woman the whole time, right?
It's just one woman. Bubbles was her name. Was her stage name.
Liz
And
Cash.
Bubbles Cash, yes. And it, like many, many scenes in this film, is filler.
Yeah.
Like, we have established that what she
I
does
guess
for a living.
There's worse
but
fillers,
but yes.
it's the movie is 80 minutes. The budget is $20,000 estimate. It says there's no box office, of course.
Though we're one to cut out Miss Bubbles' performance, all of the stock footage of U.S. airplanes, as well as intense close-ups of loudspeakers, it would probably run only about 15 minutes.
Yeah. Now this movie, it's not good. It's a bad movie, folks. It's long, dull. At 80 minutes, it seems long, dull, slow, and the sound is bad. I'm sure it wasn't originally bad, but no one has cleaned it up. The picture didn't look that bad, but the sound is terrible.
Yes, especially during the football scene. But
No one has bothered remastering anything here.
I am a bit of a connoisseur of bad movies. I will not be so reductionist to say there are only two kinds of bad movies, but there are at least two kinds of bad movies. One is the bad movie that had potential, that could have been a good movie, and one is the bad movie that was never going to be anything but a very bad movie. And this falls squarely in that second category.
Yeah, I think our star Tommy Kirk called it one of the dumbest movies ever made, I think.
Yes.
So let's do the cast. Tommy Kirk as Dop, or Martian Fellow Number 1 / Mr. Fast. Yvonne Craig,
Yes.
TV's Batgirl, as Dr. Marjorie Bolan, who is terribly objectified by the press.
Yes. Yvonne Craig is one of the only two good things about this movie.
Yeah. Warren Hammock as Martian Doctor / Fellow Number 2. Tony Houston as Martian Fellow Number 3. Larry Tanner as Martian Fellow Number 4. Carl Dugan as Martian Fellow Number 5. Pat Delaney as Artist Abductee. Sherry Roberts as Brenda Nolan Abductee. Donna Lindbergh. Lindbergh went missing. She's the stewardess abductee. Bubbles Cash as stripper abductee. Byron Lord as Colonel Bob Page, Roger Reddy as Stimmons. He should use that name in the movie.
Yeah.
Barnett Shaw as man at military conference, Neil Fletcher as Secretary of Defense, Chet Davis as network news reporter, and Patrick Cranshaw as drunk on pier. Now, this movie, as bad as it is, has a bit of a legacy. Most obviously is the title Mars Needs Moms, but Frank Zappa was a fan and had an instrumental that references it called Max Needs Women.
Yes, actually, the other good thing about this movie, besides Yvonne Craig, was the title itself.
Yes.
And from one of the things I read, the title itself is what got this movie greenlit.
Yes.
And it's a good title in that it's very evocative.
Mm-hmm.
It sums up the plot, the goal. Gives you a premise, some tension. Mars needs women. What are they going to do to get the women? What's Earth's reaction going to be? What's the women's? So it has potential there. It's very evocative, but unfortunately, this movie squanders all of its potential.
Yeah.
But I will come back to the musical legacy of it in a moment, if you wish.
I was going to come back to it right now.
Okay, sure.
A guy named Peter Wolf had a song called Mars Needs Women. There's a track by Meat Beat Manifesto called Mars Needs Women that has samples from the movie. And then that was resampled by the Chemical Brothers. The introduction to the 1988 record Pump Up the Volume by the group Mars with 2 R's. Mars. Is taken from the film's preview trailer. And Rob Zombie released a song called Mars Needs Women on Hillbilly Deluxe 2. Tony O'Kay wrote and recorded a song with that title. And that's about it. And there was a proposed sequel, but it never got made. Although it sounded more like a reboot than a sequel.
So if I can address the music, I actually took the time to listen to all of the 6 songs aforementioned. So in a brief rundown, Manx Needs Women by Frank Zappa, Manx in this case referring to the inhabitants of the Isle of Man, is an instrumental, very short, and listening to it, I thought, yep, that's Frank Zappa. It is very much a Frank Zappa song. So if you like Frank Zappa, you'll like it. If not, not. That's actually kind of the way with most of these songs. The Rob Zombie song is very much a Rob Zombie song. It says, Mars needs women, angry red women, outer space fucking is one of the profound lyrics of Mr. Zombie there. But I kind of like Rob Zombie. The song Pump Up the Volume samples many, many, many different songs.
Okay.
And it's only in the 12-inch extended mix that we get a cut from the trailer for this movie saying Mars Needs Women. The song by Meat Beat Manifesto I actually like, although it is very much in their style. It's not quite as good as their big hit, which is Original Control, which includes samples from the robot Electro, the real actual 1939 Westinghouse robot, saying, I am Electro, my brain is smarter than yours. Well, if you know that song, then you would know their Mars Needs Women, pretty much the same sort of electronic, industrial dance hit, but sampling Mars Needs Women rather than I Am Electro. What were Peter Wolf. So I had to look him up, but he was the lead singer of the Jay Giles Band. Okay. And then he went on to do his song after he split with Jay Giles Band in his solo work. And interestingly enough, his song most deals directly with the plot of this movie. He does start off talking about how the Martians can't reproduce anymore, so they have to come down and take our women so they can reproduce, although he does refer to the Martians as little green men, which, as we know from this film...
No, they're medium white men.
Yes, they're very much
tidy,
very square,
tight black,
very square white men. And then... Tony O'Kay. I would think you would be familiar with Tony O'Kay. If not, a new wave artist of the 1980s. His song, he was actually a big inspiration for Weird Al. His song, his album, Welcome to the Food Chain, has 2 songs, Hatred, Hatred, and Funky Western Civilization, which have proven to be inspirations for two of Weird Al's pastiche songs, that is, his original songs done in the style of another artist. In this case, his Happy Birthday song, done in the style of Funky Western Civilization, and his song So Sick of You, done in the Song of Hatred. Speaking of hatred of women, we'll come back to Tony O'Kay's song, because in his song, Mars Needs Women, it starts off, Mars needs women, why don't you apply? In that he is, it's a breakup song.
Okay.
It's a dust-off song.
I see.
It's, you are unfit for Earth, so why don't you apply for going to Mars?
So, speaking of applying, let's talk a little bit about the plot. We're not going to, these 31 Days of Horror, we tend to be a little shorter and we don't go through the entire plot like we do in our normal episodes. But plan number 2 is to ask for volunteers. Plan 1 is just to teleport women.
Right.
But that didn't work, so those women died, I guess.
Yeah, it's unclear what's happening at the beginning of the film when we see women disappear with the lamest special effect ever, which is just cutting to a woman being there, to her being out. There's no transporter beam.
Film,
there's
person
no
steps away.
Yeah.
Tommy Kirk pops in and out like that too.
Yeah.
And there's a woman playing tennis. There's a woman making some art, and there's a woman in the shower, and they all just disappear.
Right.
And he says something at one point, Tommy Kirk, about that plan failing. So I guess they all just died in transport.
I guess so. By the way, I referred to Tommy Kirk in my notes here as Wesley Crusher. Okay. He just had that kind of vibe. He just looked like Wesley Crusher to me.
Okay. He used to be a big deal.
He was. He was a Disney star.
This is when he was desperate for money and took anything that came along, which he later regretted. He was like, that's not the way to do things.
Yes.
But when you have no money, maybe it is the only way to do things. So.
Yes, but one of the reasons why this movie is terrible is that the plot, of course, makes no damn sense. No. In that a brief diplomatic mission between Mars and Earth could have solved the entire problem of.
And they make a brief attempt at that. Or they also give up. So first the teleporting doesn't work. Then they just start broadcasting that Mars needs women, but in code. Although they're clearly capable of speaking English, so why bother with that?
Yeah, one of my notes is, who are they broadcasting that to? Yeah. Not to Earth, because it's not in English, but it's not to Mars either, because Mars already knows that they need women.
But then they come in, maybe they just want to see if we're smart enough to decode it. I don't know. But then Tommy Kirk presents himself to the military and just says, look, we need breeding stock and we're looking for volunteers. We tried just abducting people and they died, so we need volunteers. And they are all like, fuck you. Rather than, yes, let's learn from your superior technology, and surely among the few billion people on the planet, somebody would be willing to give it a shot.
Right.
There are people, mail order brides, arranged marriages. There's got to be some, and just, curiosity, or maybe
anthropologists,
maybe
scientists.
They'll meet you and like you, like Yvonne Craig.
Yeah.
But the military says, fuck you. So they decide to go undercover. They steal some clothes that must fit exactly.
Right.
He says everything from shoes to neckties.
Right.
Like, neckties don't have to fit exactly.
No.
What are you talking about?
Although they haven't had ties on their planet for 50 years.
Which is so advanced.
Yeah,
they
so
got
sophisticated.
Rid of these superfluous neckties.
And it's also
ago.
a bizarre bit of parallel evolution. The necktie is a very...
why did they have them at all?
Why did they develop neckties at all?
Well, they're exactly like us, as Yvonne Craig says. It would be arrogant to presume they're not like us. I'm like, no, I think you got that backwards.
That's exactly backwards,
Yvonne.
yeah.
So, meanwhile, they've kind of alerted everybody to this problem. So scientists start meeting. The press totally objectifies Yvonne Craig. It's like, and one of the scientists is a lady, a lovely brunette. Nobody ever used the term brunette, blonde, or redhead in a non-objectifying way.
Yes.
So, this is supposed to be taking place in Houston, I guess, because of Cape Canaveral or whatever,
right?
Cape Kennedy, but they filmed it in Dallas.
Yes,
because that's just where
for budgetary reasons.
That's just where the guy was from.
And you can see
didn't have the budget to drive across the state to Houston.
And you can actually see that on a map when they're looking at the local map. You can see it says Dallas at one point.
Somebody picked up a copy of the Houston newspaper at one point.
Right.
But at one point they go to a planetarium, which is a readily identifiable Dallas landmark. So they're supposed to go undercover and all go look for suitable candidates. One of the guys heads straight for the strip club.
Right.
One of them wants to go to the college. I think two of them end up at college, but one of them abducts the. So I wrote here in my notes, lesson: don't run for homecoming queen.
Yes.
Because that's how one of them makes his choice. Whoever wins homecoming queen, he abducts her.
Yeah.
One of them picks a stewardess. But three of the guys, there's 5 altogether, right?
Right.
Tommy Kirk decides he's going to get to know the lady scientist.
Right.
The other 3 guys seem to just hypnotize their picks.
In a fairly creepy way.
Yeah. But the 4th guy she just starts screaming. He just comes, it's the stripper. He comes in her dressing room and doesn't hypnotize her and lets her just start screaming.
Yeah, and we don't see
no one comes
exactly how he gets her under his control.
Nobody comes to help her. But I'm like, you have this hypno power, or is that your thing? You like to make the ladies scream.
Yeah, it's weird because they start off talking about volunteers, but then they throw that out fairly quickly.
Yeah.
And part of the terribleness about the whole plot, is there's an artificial time constraint, right? That they have to do this within 24 hours.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Do they ever explain why that is? Because
No.
they could. They're going to have to wait to.
They got to start breeding right away, man.
Right. They're going to have to take years to start breeding a population.
But five is a start, I guess.
Yeah. And it has to be done within 24 hours.
Also,
so there's no time to actually meet these women and treat them as sentient human beings.
I don't mean to keep going back to the striptease, but these days when you see a striptease, there's no tease, and the ladies already start off mostly undressed. Right. This lady's got a full length black gown on, going all the way to the floor.
Right,
she dances around in that for quite some time.
Right, with just the back zipper done for a while.
At the end of the first song, she unzips the back.
And everybody applauds like that's the end.
Yeah, right? Yeah. But then another song starts because they can only afford one dancer, I suppose.
I suspect so.
So, yeah, the fact that she is listed in the credits, and did she have a link on her page?
I think so.
Yes, Bubbles Cash. Let's see. Let's go. Essie Mae Cash, is American former burlesque dancer and film actress, credited as a key inspiration for the Dallas Cowboys cheerleader team.
Well, there you go.
So I guess she was something apart. I'm not going to just read her Wikipedia article. You guys can look that up yourself. But she had things going on besides this piece of shit movie.
Yes.
She seemed nice enough.
Although, wait a second. She was a burlesque dancer in Dallas in 1968?
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder what her connection would be with Jack Ruby. Because if you all know, Jack Ruby ran a strip club in Dallas in the 60s that had its... part to play in the Kennedy assassination.
I'm just skimming, but it doesn't mention anything about that here.
So. Well, and in general, the adult entertainment industry, throughout the 20th century, was very connected with the mob for obvious reasons.
Oh, she acquired the nickname Bubbles as a baby, so that wasn't necessarily a stripper name. It was just her nickname. So Tommy Kirk at one point adopts the identity of a reporter, hanging out with a real reporter at some point, and he starts schmoozing on our lady scientist, and they go on a date to the planetarium. And Tommy Kirk did rewrite a bunch of his lines,
right,
and improvised his little monologue in the planetarium, which I think is maybe one of the better parts. Not everybody agrees on that. And because he excuse me, because he knew it was bad, and this wasn't his first movie, so I think he was trying to make it as good as possible. But she says something about, at one point, I want to take you to meet my father, and then takes him to this museum where there's all these organs on display. They're replicas, but I'm like, wait, is your father a specimen in the museum?
Well, she had already told him that her father was dead.
Yeah.
So at first, when she says, "Do you want to see my father?" we're thinking we're going to a graveyard or to see an urn of ashes. But no, the exhibit is named after her father.
Yes, yeah. And then they have a kiss in front of the Visible Woman, I guess you'd call it.
Yes.
There used to be a model kit called the Visible Man, which was like see-through, so you could see the man's organs. There's a life-size lady like that in this exhibit, and that's where they decide to share a kiss.
Yes.
Which
Oh, so romantic.
Very, very creepy.
Well, and of course, because all of this has to happen within 24 hours,
Yeah.
she has to fall in love with him.
Well, I mean, they're moving on movie time,
Yeah.
which tends to be accelerated anyway.
Although I would say one thing about the planetarium scene, and why I say Yvonne Craig is one of the best parts of this movie, is when he's doing his improvised planetarium lecture. I was watching her reaction, and this is a sign of a good actor. That she's in the scene, she doesn't have any lines, but she's listening, she's paying attention, and we can see on her face that she is bought into, as a performer,
Right.
that she's falling in love with him.
Okay, yeah.
That she is, even though it's a ridiculous premise that she falls in love this quickly for such a silly reason, Yvonne Craig is selling it.
Yeah.
She's doing a good job on it.
Yeah. So at this point, the authorities know that the Martians are there looking for women, and I think they know that some have gone missing. And Yvonne Craig has, between dates, has helped them figure out where they are, and then lets it slip to Tommy Kirk that they're going to do a raid on the place. And he's like, "Oh, I got to go." And he says, "It's best if you don't go with me." And then she goes with him. She just
Yes.
follows him, and he lets her get in the car and doesn't do anything to stop her, and just drives her to the place so that she can find out, I'm one of the Martians.
Right.
And they're like, the cops are coming. We immediately give up on our plan to save our planet. We got to get out of here. We can't use our superior technology in any way. We've got to leave.
Yeah. One of the reasons why this plot is so bad is that nothing happens.
Yeah.
It sets back to zero. There's no real consequences to anybody's, well, except for those women who disappear at the very beginning. But other than that, there's no real consequences.
Yeah, because they're like, well, we got to go. We better let these ladies go, and because well, they have time.
Yeah.
And then there's a dispute about whether or not he's going to come or stay, or are we going to take Yvonne Craig? She'd be a fair trade for the other four,
Right.
Because she knows about space medicine.
Right.
And these Martians have some telepathy, don't they? Well, they have their hypnotism,
Right.
but they seem to be fully human. I mean, they think they can mate with human women.
Right.
So
Yeah.
so they fuck off back to Mars, and she stands there looking upset.
Yeah. Well, one thing I did read is that there was a planned sequel, which could then result in something actually happening.
But I don't think it planned at the time, though.
One thing I think I read something that it was at least an idea that this would lead to a sequel, but it did not. One other thing about this being a terrible movie, going back to the Colonel, I had it in my notes. I forget what his name is, Colonel Dickhead, because he was just unreasonably hostile to everybody for no reason.
All right,
Maybe he had PTSD from war or something, but he's hostile to the reporter who's doing everything he wants him to do.
Yeah.
And he's hostile to the Martians. Mm-hmm. The fact that all of this can have been resolved diplomatically is in part torpedoed because of his irrational response to the situation.
Yes.
And I don't know. I started to come up with an explanation for that. That maybe this is a critique of the irrational response of the military-industrial establishment. But no, I should just stop right there. There's no deeper meaning to this film.
Now, this was actually the second time Tommy Kirk played an alien. He also plays an alien in, I think it's Pajama Party.
Oh, okay.
Not a bikini movie. Well, I mean, it's related.
Yeah.
It's part of the larger bikini universe.
Yes.
Pajama Party. It's got Annette in it.
Right.
And I can't remember if, what's his name's in it, just off to the side a little bit. Annette Funicello, his name is Gogo.
Nice.
And Harvey, well, the way we know it's part of that universe is Harvey Lembeck is in it playing Eric Von Zipper.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah, Annette's playing Connie, not Dee Dee. She's usually playing Dee Dee. Maybe she has an identical. Looks like the Bride of Frankenstein is in it. And what's his name? Silent film guy that was in a bunch of these.
The Beach Block. Oh, Buster Keaton.
Buster Keaton.
Yeah.
Buster Keaton.
Is he playing a racist stereotype in it?
He is. He is playing some sort of an Injun, if you'll pardon the.
Yes.
pardon
I
the
know
term.
he does that in Beach blanket bingo.
Maybe he's the same character. Maybe like Von
Chief
Zipper.
Heat Big Stereotype.
Maybe like Von Zipper. He might be a recurring character. Tommy's also in another one of these things. Seem to have lost track of it.
So going back to Mars Needs Women
Yeah.
for a moment, and Yvonne Craig's character, again, best thing about the movie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He is in The Ghost in the Invisible Bikini. One
Nice.
of my favorites.
Yeah.
Great song by the Judies based on that. And It's a Bikini World. He's also in The Wild Weird World of Dr. Goldfoot. I think that's just Dr. Goldfoot and the
Bikini Machine, right.
Yeah, I think that's an alternate title for it.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So this movie, like many in this genre, in this time period, and I know you've talked about this before, and in some ways, it's sort of proto-feminist, which is surprising for a thing called Mars Needs Women, but that Yvonne Craig's character is fighting back against a certain amount of sexism.
Yes.
Right. She is objectified. She's not treated with the respect that is due her as a scientist, and she rebels against that. And we see that
she acts professionally and competently throughout.
Right. And we see that in a number of these films that have female scientist characters at a time when there wasn't that much representation of female scientists. So that there is that thing. Now, having said that, it's not a feminist movie by any means.
Well, no, they're just going to kidnap these women. Although they don't get away with it, so...
That's true. But not due to really the women's
they
fighting
don't.
back.
No.
Yeah.
They've been hypnotized. What do you want?
Yeah. In that Peter Wolf song about Mars Needs Women, at one point there's a chorus where he says, are we going to let them take our women? No! Which just kind of highlights the whole...
Our women?
Yes, the idea that we Earthmen...
Not the women.
Our women, yes. That the Mars needs women, and so it is incumbent upon us Earthmen to protect our women. And yes, we could... There's a whole lot that could be unpacked there, but it's pretty obvious.
I haven't mentioned this in a while. We used to mention this all the time. But this movie does get a #1 on the racism scale for non-white people not existing.
Oh, yeah.
There's no option of taking any genetic variety with them back to Mars. And there's not a single non-white person in the film.
Even in the... I was looking... I didn't look that closely, but even the crowd scene at the stadium during the football game, I don't think we saw any.
Not allowed in,
No.
So.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think that's about all there is to say about this piece of shit.
In related news, does it pass the Bechdel test? I don't think so.
Well, there's only one woman on screen at a time.
Yeah.
I think only one named female character.
Right.
So at no point are there two women having a conversation.
Right. There are 4 women laying on beds unconscious next to each other. So they are on screen at the same time.
They're not discussing men, but
they're...
no, it doesn't.
Not at all.
So there you go, folks. Mars Needs Women. If you feel the need to watch it, it is on Prime, and it is also on MGM Plus, and probably on a couple other things too. But those were the first 2 that showed up. Don't pay money for it, for God's sake.
Yeah. Or you could just go listen to the Meat Beat Manifesto song, and that'll be about all you need of it.
But Delano will be back with me soon to talk about Mars Needs Moms, which I've never seen.
I haven't seen it yet either.
So I didn't get great reviews, but Seth Green's involved.
Oh, well.
But we'll get to that in that episode.
Okay.
Well, thanks for joining us, everybody.
Thanks
back
for having
here
me.
Tomorrow for another in our Mars Needs Movies marathon. Until then, I have been Precious D.
And I've been Pretentious D.
Remember to keep calm and take shelter in basements. Whatever you do not misuse science. We won't see you, but you will hear us next time on Monster Movie Fun Time Go.